kindness, I think, is a vastly underrated quality in leadership. If you do not truly care about the people who you are leading, you have no business leading them. Kindness just goes such a long way and engenders so much trust that you can't go wrong.
Welcome to the True Leadership Podcast, where we sit down with executive leaders to explore what leadership really means through the lens of their stories, their wins, their struggles, their vision, and their lessons along the way. I'm Ty Hammond, founder of One Mountain Leadership and creator of the True Leadership Approach, an awareness-based path that helps leaders shift their focus from what to do about their problems to how to grow from them. Whether you're just stepping into leadership or are well-seasoned and at the top of your game, your potential won't be realized following someone else's script, but you can draw insights from their stories and turn it into wisdom by putting it into practice in your own life.
Welcome to the True Leadership Podcast, where we explore the essence of leadership beyond tactics and performance by sitting down with executives to hear what matters most to them. I'm your host, Justin Houchin. Today's guest is Dr. Marc Gautreau. Marc is an emergency physician, educator, and leader whose career bridges frontline service, academia, and innovation in emergency medical systems. Born and raised in Massachusetts, he began as a teenage fire dispatcher, later serving as a firefighter, EMT, and paramedic before earning his MD from Chicago Medical School. A U.S. Air Force flight surgeon and EMS fellow, he deployed to Germany during the Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts, directing care for wounded soldiers. Now Director of Prehospital Care at Stanford Emergency Medicine, Dr. Gautreau continues to shape the future of EMS and disaster medicine through leadership, research, and mentorship. It is a pleasure for me to have Marc on the podcast today. Welcome to the show, Marc.
Thank you so much, Justin.
Awesome. All right. So every leader has a beginning, and I found that who we are as leaders at work and in life starts taking shape long before we're in any sort of executive position of leadership. So Marc, who is somebody from your early life or an early experience that shaped the kind of leader you are today?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. We're going back a long, long way. But interestingly enough, I think I grew up in a very, very close-knit neighborhood and friend group where every single house had kids, in a fairly narrow age range, but I was among one of the two oldest. And so growing up, I was kind of the big, athletic, older person who kind of was expected to be the leader along with a very, very close friend of mine. And, growing up together, we both had the same intention toward looking out for other people. A lot of it revolved around, kindness. And I think we learned that from our parents, actually. And I remember, I think one of my first leadership experiences was when the two of us were in high school and we were expected to choose up teams to play volleyball or basketball or something like that. And I don't know if you remember that, where if you were the last one chosen, it was so, humiliating and embarrassing. And the two of us on the spot made a decision that we would divide the teams among ourselves and do it fairly, and then just announce the names randomly. And the gym teacher was stunned. And apparently that became the policy of the school going forward. And it was just something the two of us had decided on the spur of the moment that, we were going to do this in a way that wasn't going to embarrass somebody, that wasn't going to make somebody feel like the odd person out. And it worked out really, really well.
Wow. I wish they did that when I was a kid. Yeah, that always really sucked to be the last one picked. And there was definitely a lot of tears I witnessed over that. Yeah. That's beautiful. I'm also I'm the oldest of three boys, and was put in the leadership position and as a young one. And that was, it's incredible to start building those skills early and resolving conflicts between your friends and stuff without having to take it to the parents and all that. Yeah, that's awesome. Um, all right. So how would you say that would inform your leadership today?
It's basically being able to see things from the point of view of others whose experience and me not necessarily have shared. And that can go in both directions. So obviously in that situation, it was, understanding as somebody who was fairly athletic that people who were not fairly athletic were also human beings who were deserving of, respect and dignity. And it's been one of my sort of hallmarks, one of my codes in life is to always respect and protect the dignity of others, whether they be the homeless person on the street as I walk to the train station here in San Francisco, uh, you know, or a paramedic that I'm dealing with who may have had a call that went badly, or an elected official who has questions about an EMS policy that they don't understand and they don't have the expertise for, and understanding that all of those people are looking at life through a particular lens, and they're all very, very valid lenses. And being able to understand that and potentially put myself in the position of what would it feel like to be looking at a situation through their lens uh, really makes it so much easier to have these interactions and to exercise leadership in a very sort of intentional way.
Wow. Yeah, that's music to my ears. Absolutely. Yeah, just being able to see where people are actually coming from. And that takes a lot of, or at least it has for me, it's taken actual discipline to be in the moment, because the tendency is to like, oh, that's wrong. We need to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That should be different. And then like, hang on, they had like a whole different life before they came into this situation with me. Can we try and see where they're coming from? And it's just always so much more productive. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a
Beautiful,
very
man.
interesting experience today at
Okay. Yeah.
a seminar that I attended in how to deal with elected officials. And this person who's a retired town manager pointed out that one of the great joys of his job as a city manager, not an elected official, was he didn't have to live in the city in which he worked. So he didn't have to worry about going to the supermarket and being accosted by people upset about trash collection or unpaved streets, or, why won't the police make them turn down their music? Whereas elected officials have to live in the district from which they are elected, and have to live that life in a constant public limelight and deal with all of the pressures and aggravation that comes with that. And that was something that I kind of knew intellectually, but really never understood in my core until I heard him say it, and how not having to do that had affected him so positively.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine just
Yeah.
people are looking for places to put their blame. So
Yes.
I can imagine that being very challenging to, yeah, to walk around as the scapegoat. And maybe sometimes it is your fault too.
True.
But still, yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful, man. Um So, I want to explore the sort of essence of leadership, or true
Mhm.
leadership, as we would call it, and of course that means different things to different people. So, in your words, what would true leadership mean to you, and what would a true leader be in your eyes?
It's really, I think, being able to listen. And I don't mean just listen to the facts, but listen, to use the cliche, read the room. Listen not only to what is being said, but what isn't being said. And and as I mentioned before, kind of having a real understanding of where people are coming from and what their responsibilities are, what their pressures are. It is very, very easy in medicine as a physician to say, oh my God, hospital administration doesn't have any idea what we're doing. They won't give us the resources to do our jobs properly. They give us too many patients. We can't move these patients out of the emergency department. And then talk to hospital administration who are saying, we can't get our inpatients moved to nursing homes because the nursing homes won't accept them. The state won't allow us to build additional capacity, and the payers won't pay us. And so we're running, very, very thin margins. And understanding that everyone has different pressures and different difficulties that they're dealing with. And whether it be the president of the hospital or a paramedic who is telling me, yeah, I had trouble with this case because I'm dealing with this patient in a field during a rainstorm who I can't really see very well, and trying to listen to lungs next to a diesel fire engine. Yeah, okay, I get that. And just being able to truly hear people and understand that they come in with their stressors and their emotions. In healthcare, there's often frustration that things move very, very slowly in adopting new technologies, new practices. And I'm here in Silicon Valley, or I work in Silicon Valley, where the mantra seems to be, move fast and break things. Well, in healthcare, if we move fast and break things, people die. And so it can be very frustrating sometimes to be trying to move care forward, but understanding that we have to move it forward very, very safely. And the same goes with EMS. We can't make very, very sudden changes. And that can be very, very difficult for people. And so understanding that, understanding where people's frustrations are coming from, and and being able to collaborate with folks to move things forward in a way that is safe and is very satisfying to them as well, and encourages their understanding, makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. So it's listening to people. It's
Listening, absolutely.
listening. It's
Listening and validating and hearing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And we've been there with leaders, I'm sure, who haven't learned that lesson. They're like, this is the way it is, and we are gonna make it happen. And I don't care what you think or who you are. Like, can I use you or not? And that's that situation. I feel like you can get stuff done really quickly, potentially, maybe. I don't know, but it's so unsustainable. So yeah, I definitely love to hear that that sounds like listening and really being there with the people that you're working with is of the utmost important.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. So in life and in leadership, it's a path sort of shaped by fundamental turning points. As I've seen sort of time and time again. Can you share a time when you realized that your way of leading or living no longer met the demands of your work and life, and growth? Yeah, and some sort of growth was needed, Yeah.
That's a great question. What springs to mind is the experience that I had as a flight surgeon in the military, deployed. And in the military, of course, we're very, very used to, officers give orders and other people obey orders. And it's very, very hierarchical. And it's very, very process oriented. Here are the rules, follow the rules.
Right.
And when I was deployed to Germany to be the chief medical officer for essentially a field hospital that we had at Ramstein Air Base, it wasn't just me who realized that we had to make a fundamental change in the way we were going to run this hospital and how we were going to lead it. It was actually a group of us, the four of us who were at the senior levels of the organization, this hospital unit. And I give a tremendous amount of credit to my boss, the commander, who was one of those people who was very, very rule oriented. He knew the regulations by chapter and verse, and he could quote, every rule in the rule book. And I remember during a particular moment when we were having very a great deal of difficulty with the regular military who were following rules, but not really taking good care of patients. And he said, we have to make a big change here. We're reservists. We may get fired, but that's okay because we have jobs to go to. But we have to reorient ourselves and not to take care of the military. We have to take care of the soldiers. And if that means that we're going to piss people off, then we're going to piss people off. But what we're seeing now, what we're experiencing now, soldiers who are getting inadequate pain control for a 6-hour flight from Iraq to Germany is unacceptable. It's immoral. And I don't care how many people we offend at the higher levels of this military, we have to do it. And we were all kind of taken aback. And especially coming from him, who was the ultimate rule-oriented guy. But that's what we did. And it ultimately worked out extremely well and was actually extremely well received by military units in CENTCOM for whom we actually developed a reputation as just really taking good care of people. We did not win a lot of friends at Ramstein Air Base, which was a very buttoned up corporate, tie-wearing culture. But we got the job done, and we left that assignment. Really, all of us significantly changed in how we approached cultures that weren't necessarily meeting the mission that needed to be met.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. I talk to people a lot, but it's just like these stories are really affecting people's lives.
Yeah.
It's big. It's beautiful. And it's interesting too. One thing that stood out is just like that. Sometimes we think something's going to have this big impact and ruffle all these feathers, and then we do it, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
no.
And what was fascinating is once we'd made that decision, once we had worked our way through the resistance from the bureaucracy, everyone else fell into place and started cooperating with us. And I'll tell you one quick story related to pain management. So there were 2 aircraft that were used to evacuate wounded soldiers from Iraq and Afghanistan. The C-17, which you're probably familiar with, it's the principal cargo plane used by the Air Force today, and the C-141, which was actually scheduled to be retired, but the retirement of that aircraft was delayed by the Iraq War. And it was a very old 1950s aircraft. And we noticed that when we got a shipment of 50 or 60 soldiers on a C-17, we would get on board and everybody looked good and everybody was kind of smiling and happy to be in Germany. And when we got on to a 141, they were miserable. They were in agony. And we ended up having to give out huge doses of morphine just to get the pain under control. And we didn't understand what difference does the airplane make? And we were having this conversation, and there was a pilot standing near us. And he looked at us and he said, I think I know what's going on. And he said, when a C-17 is put on autopilot, it flies straight and steady. Autopilot for 141 is old. It's an old plane. It's an old autopilot. And the plane just kind of flies through the air, rocking back and forth. And these guys who have broken limbs are in these 3-level, stretchers, and their limbs are banging against the stanchions as we fly on autopilot. And so he spread the word, don't fly on autopilot, just fly it manually. And it solved the problem. So the biggest impact we had on pain management in the early part of that war came from pilots.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an amazing story.
Yeah. And it just goes to show you that the impact and the leadership impact and his leadership in basically going outside the chain of command and just spreading that through the pilot ranks informally made so much more difference than some trying to put some directive up through the chain of command and then having it to go to the Pentagon and then come back. That would have taken months.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And again, it's about looking at this, who is involved in the situation and
Yeah.
seeing them. And I mean, yeah, without a keen eye, that could have been totally missed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Or like if you had to request only the newer planes or something like that, that could have taken years or never,
That would have never happened.
Never happened.
That's why we had those planes. They didn't have enough.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. So I'm continuously growing and learning. It requires a real commitment, right? So thinking about your journey over the past few years, what's been the most valuable investment you've made in yourself, in your own growth?
Well, and this may sound a little bit, not self-serving, but serving of Ty in the podcast. But quite frankly, having a leadership coach who isn't in my direct line of report, so isn't my chair or vice chair or somebody, we're at San Jose Fire where I serve as the medical director, to bounce leadership thoughts and to have some very, very deep conversations about leadership has proven to be invaluable. And I once, years ago, I made the statement that I think that every person really should have a therapist before they even have a primary care physician. And I think that everyone in any leadership position should probably have a leadership coach who is outside of their organization. Because having somebody that you can talk to freely without concern, how is this going to be interpreted? How is this going to affect my next performance review? How is it going to affect my next, promotion opportunity? Makes all the difference in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't, there's no growth possible if anything is being hid about yourself. Not to mention in an organization, a lot of times the blind spots and things are going to be the same. So there's not somebody to like call you out because they don't see it in themselves. They don't see it in you. Yeah. Yeah. That makes total sense. And then, how do you feel this has kind of made a difference in your life so far?
It's allowed me to become a bit more self-aware. It can be very, very difficult, especially in hierarchical organizations, to get true feedback, especially from people who report to me. And then on the other side of that, even the people to whom I report, I don't see them very often, to be honest. And they don't see me at work with paramedics. So they don't really have a really deep insight as to how I'm doing from a leadership perspective.
Right.
They have a fairly superficial view of it. And so, having somebody, as a leadership coach, to be able to have these conversations and who can reflect back some of their insights into who I am as a leader and what my blind spots are, and really facilitate that self-awareness and self-education is critical.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, if I used to kind of just reach out to friends and family and whatever, and they know me too well. And
you're good. You're good.
Yeah, you're good. You have the same. And then you also don't need somebody to agree with you completely, to be on your side in that way. You want a friend who's on your side, but you want to, and your coach is truly on your side, but it's good to have
somebody. You also want somebody to push you a little bit, because even if you're doing a reasonably good job, I don't know about other people, but I'm not satisfied just doing a reasonably good job. I always want to be progressing. And so if you're already perceived as one of my friends once put it, he said, well, you suck less than others. And it's like, that's great. I suck less than others, but that's not my goal. And so, having to push myself to to be better. I'll be doing this, right up until the time they drag me to the nursing home. And I expect to be learning more about myself and about leadership right up until that point. And so it's a continual growth process. And it's very, very good to have somebody who that's what they do, is they help you along that growth path.
Yeah, 100%. Now it's beautiful to hear that I feel the same way about myself. I want to just keep learning, keep
Yeah.
growing. In the inner development and music too. Actually, there's just
Yes.
there's no end to it.
Yeah.
My fingers might slow down, but my ears can always improve in the ways that I perform, and the ways that I play my music, and will always be expanding and growing. And again, until they drag me to the nursing home. So yeah,
Yep.
I love
I
that.
have a tremendous. In my do-over, I'm going to have some musical talent. I don't now, but it's one of those things that's what I look at on YouTube, is mostly music things. And I saw one recently that blew my mind. Um, uh, uh, Jacob Collier. Yeah, I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
if you're familiar with him.
of
Yeah,
course,
how to play an audience. And it's like that to me was, that was bordering on, like, finding the divine in the human experience.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I feel about it too. And he's our 2025 Mozart. He's our
Yeah.
He's not only just such a great performer and he's such a good musician, like
Yes.
real deal. Yeah, I can't get enough of him. Yeah.
Yep.
Another time
Yeah.
we'll nerd out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, where where do you feel most tested right now, or what challenges are kind of stretching you the most in your leadership and in your life?
The biggest challenges are probably on the political front.
Hmm.
I'm in a situation right now where trying to affect public policy regarding EMS and navigating, various stakeholders such as fire chiefs, city council people, mayors, other, state officials, other medical directors who sometimes have, more conservative views in terms of what paramedic EMS, what EMS is capable of, can be a bit of a challenge. And uh, understanding their concerns and understanding their points of view, but at the same time, trying to find a path of communication where, yes, I understand where they're coming from, but I also have thoughts to communicate. And especially when you move, like in a big city, that path isn't always that open. I can't just call the mayor and say, "Hey, Mr. Mayor, here's my thoughts on how you should design the EMS system for this city." That would be considered really not the right thing to do. But at the same time, uh, finding a way to be heard, through the hierarchy and working within a hierarchical environment is my biggest challenge right now.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. And what would you say is a way that you would need to grow personally, to meet that challenge?
The developing a greater comfort with, I don't want to say challenging those in positions of power, but engaging with people in positions of power without feeling like being a pest, you know. And so, having the path to, reach out and engage. When I was in Massachusetts, it was really interesting because everything is smaller in New England. The states are smaller, the cities are smaller. And I was in the second largest city in New England, Worcester, Massachusetts, which is about the size of Sunnyvale in population. And I had breakfast with the mayor 3 days a week. We hung out at the same diner. I had, direct access to the police chief, the fire chief, and to the CEO of the healthcare system. And it was just so much easier in that environment. Now there are several layers of hierarchy between me and, the true power brokers, both at the city and county level. And so navigating that is more challenging.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, moving through the bureaucracy.
Yes.
Of that. Yeah. It's nice when we were just
Oh,
running
yeah.
around in tribes, It's just
Yep.
talk to the chief if you got a problem.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So the last question is more of an invitation, and it's just
Mhm.
I just want to give you the time and the space to offer the listeners whatever's most on your mind or on your heart to share right now, anything at all, and take your time with it. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I guess what I would offer to listeners is, I was asked recently. I interviewed for and actually got a job as a county official, and the question that obviously lit up the room. There were, I think, 8 people who interviewed me. The question that lit up the room was, how would people who know you describe you? And I said, I think people would say I'm one of the kindest people they know. And kindness, I think, is a vastly underrated quality in leadership. And if I have one piece of advice for any leader, it's be kind. I think I remember, and it may have been a military leader who once said, if you do not truly care about the people who you are leading, you have no business leading them. And so kindness just goes such a long way and engenders so much trust that you can't go wrong.
Amen. I mean that. Yeah, in this day and age, especially you're in San Francisco, in the Silicon Valley world,
Yeah.
where it's like the leadership is like, as soon as I can grasp what you're talking about, I'm gonna leave, and then
Yeah.
it's like how can you help me? How can we make this happen yesterday? It's just like this constant, just goal oriented thing. It's just shifting
Yeah.
the focus to the people that are involved in this. And I had just a quick story. I taught at a music school for many years, and the woman who led the school, her philosophy was to take care of her teachers first,
Yes.
and it just, everything ran so beautifully and smoothly over there. There was no hardship. All little conflicts and things were resolved, and it's just that leading with kindness. And maybe it's not the fastest way to do it, but who cares? It's the
Yeah.
best way to do it. So I that's really
Absolutely.
music to my ears. So thank you.
And what's interesting is, speaking just as an emergency physician in Silicon Valley, I see an awful lot of those people that are experiencing that high pressure, high intensity, unkind leadership in the emergency department with stress related complaints.
Yeah.
It drives them into the emergency department.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So it's got physical
Yeah.
repercussions too.
It has absolutely has physical repercussions.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, that's just wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. This was
great. I
enjoyed
enjoyed myself
yeah.
tremendously.
Good. Me too. I think this is going to be super valuable for our listeners. You had a lot of beautiful things to say, great stories. So I just really appreciate you.
All right. Thanks so much, Justin.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. All
Yeah.
right. So normally
Take care.
I would
Oh,
stop the recording
okay.
here.
Yeah.
But since Ty's gonna watch this back to give me notes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this is what
And if he wants to re-record anything, I'm perfectly happy to do that. I know that sometimes it comes out, it's like, that's a little awkward the way that came out.
Oh no, I don't think
no
so.
worries.
No, really.
Okay.
I think this had a really great flow. Yeah. Yeah. And there's so much passion in you. And it's palpable passion. And I sense the kindness too. Yeah. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
um, I have a couple things to offer you today. First of all, Ty, the leader of One Mountain Leadership. Remember,
Yep.
I'm pretending like you don't know who Ty is. So he gives a workshop for hosts on the podcast.
Okay.
It's every month. It's called Beyond Performance. So it's an opportunity for you to grow your leadership and to have a chance to connect with some other executive leaders. Would you
Cool.
like an invite to that?
I think that would be great. Yeah.
Awesome. I had some trouble figuring out how to do that before this, so I'm gonna have Archie send that to you.
Okay.
After I think it's tomorrow at 11, but I'll make sure in case you're free. I'll make
I
sure.
might be. I might
Okay.
be. I'll
Okay.
have to. Yeah. It may be a tight squeeze, but we'll see.
Okay. Cool. So then the next offer is a bit more personalized. So I just wanted to get a better sense of some things, make sure it's a good fit and all that. So first off, some of the challenges that I think we're working with, which I have definitely worked with as well, it's like the confidence, and then when you're in the hierarchy, there's this challenge to, really be present and
Yes.
stick with with what you're trying to say and do in that situation. So that is definitely something that we work with in the true leadership approach. So would that be something you're willing to address?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
actually, Ty, I think he absolutely understands that struggle because he knows, especially the fire chief, he's that person who stands between me and city leadership,
Mm,
and who is potentially very protective of his position as the gatekeeper there.
right.
Yep.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So it have definitely very specific value to you
Yeah.
as well. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Um, awesome. So do you know if your company invests in coaching or development stipends or anything for employees?
Yeah, they're paying Ty already. That's,
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. I know. I'm just going through this because
oh, gotcha. Yeah.
yeah, for practice. I know you're already in the program and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Stanford's paying for it, so
yes, that's great. Wow,
yeah.
that's awesome. That is awesome. So great. So I'm gonna then I'd go through. It feels weird to do it. I'd go through the whole thing of having you do the clarity call and all that stuff. Obviously, you already did that, but
Yep.
I definitely am going to have Archie send you the link for tomorrow to
Cool.
join. That would be
That'd
awesome.
be awesome.
Sweet. Well, I think that's it for today. So what's going to happen next is I'll send the raw material off to the editor, and it's going to take a few weeks, but then we'll send you the final product for your own records and let you know when it's going to be released so you can share it with your people. Any final thoughts or suggestions or feedback for me would be great too, if you have any. And
No, that I
we can
mean,
handle it.
uh, uh, no, I think that I had a great fun, and think it went really well. And
Me too.
I probably have some more self criticism than anything else. It's like,
So do
oh
I.
man, I don't know if I like that answer.
We can go. We can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go work with Ty on that. That seems like part of the specialty. Is that self judgment, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's gotten so
Absolutely.
much better for me over the last few years. Just so you know, like the program itself, that was a big thing for me, and it's less
Yeah.
and less as time has been going on. I've been actually doing the work. So yeah, it frees up a lot of energy.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. Well, Mark, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Justin.
All
Great
right.
meeting you.
Bye.
Take care.
That's it for this episode of the True Leadership Podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this to catch future episodes. This conversation was brought to you by One Mountain Leadership, where we help leaders grow the capacity, confidence, and presence of true leadership through the True Leadership Approach. To learn more about the approach, our offerings, our community, and how we can help you realize your potential in both leadership and in life, visit us at onemountainleadership.com.